your workspace name is going to be the name of your company, I guess.
Yeah.
And then later, as you already know how to do that, so you just go to the team page and add full member on this button. You send them the invitation, and then when they accept it, they're going to become the member of the workspace. Whatever they do from that point, you're going to be able to see because you're going to be, I guess, the owner of
Yes.
that company,
Yeah.
actually the owner of Clockify workspace for your company, and
Okay.
everything will be visible here. When we talk about billable rates per user, so I know that you mentioned you would like to have it, each activity to have the option to set up the billable rate
Yeah.
to be different for depending on the activity they work on at that moment. So yeah, that would be possible, but this is just the first step. On the team page, you can set up the billable rate for each user
Hmm.
that will be applied if there is no any more specific billable rate in the system. If there is, then task rate will be the one that's going to be applied to each entry. We're going to cover that part in a
Okay.
minute. Before that, I just want to show you, of course, that we have owner. That's going to be you, and then you can set up any other user as the admin just to help you out because
Oh, perfect.
admin and owner, they have the option to open workspace settings to set up whether any feature is going to be turned on, turned off, and
Hmm.
also this is important part is permissions. So who can do what and who can see what actually. So I
Okay.
guess you don't want all your designers to see the billable rates or stuff like
Exactly.
that.
I would basically it would be myself who oversees it, and then my project manager. They know all
Mhm.
the rates and they know all the designers, so they need to see everything.
Yeah, then just make sure that you set them up
Okay.
to be able to see that, and then the other users, as you can see here, regular users can see only their own time and expenses. So they can see
Yeah.
only their own time. If you don't want them even to be able to see their rates, you can make sure that this is
Oh. Okay.
set up admins, so you make sure that they see only their hours, and
Yeah.
that's it, because
Okay.
they should see their hours, yeah. When we come back to the team page, you have also the option to set up someone as project manager or team
Perfect.
manager.
Oh, and there's the options. Okay.
Yeah. So if you set up this user as project manager, you can of course set up the projects he would like him to be managing. So you can say, okay, I want him to be managing this for 5 projects,
Hmm.
and that's it. Or if of course if you set him up as team manager, you can set up exactly what users you would like him to be managing. So let's
Oh,
say
okay.
in his team we have Edo, Maria, and Sophie, for example. So you make sure that these 3 users are
And
right here.
if go back up to project manager for a second, when you check that off, you are given the option to choose which projects. If I choose select all, does that future proof it too? So every future project they'd have access to?
No, basically, you're gonna need always to make sure that they have to add new projects. Actually,
So every time
let
I
me.
add a new
That's a good
project, I
question.
would have to
I'm
give
not.
them.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Actually, give me 1 second
Okay.
just to double check
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So let's test it out together. That's a good question, honestly. So let's go here, create one project. I'm gonna call it Ryan's
Sure.
project, and I'm gonna create this project. And right now, I'm gonna come back to the team page, and I'm gonna see whether my team manager here is managing also Ryan's project. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
oh
No.
wait. Oh, there's two Ryans.
This one. No.
Ah,
Yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
Green. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you're gonna always be able. Let me see if there's option to set it up here. No, you need because you need to specifically say what projects you would like to be managed by that user. But there's also one more thing: who can create projects and clients. So you can always make sure that project manager can create new projects,
Okay.
and then when they create new projects, of course, they're gonna be managers to those projects.
Right.
So
Okay. That would actually work. And I guess the other thing is like when you go back to that project manager button right there, I could
mhm.
just if I had added 10 new projects, I don't have to click them 10 times. I could just choose the select all again, and it would then
Of
get
course.
all of
Just
them.
whenever you add project, you just select all
Okay.
and then all. So for example, right now we have 379. Right now we're gonna have,
And then
so
they're
if I
all then Ryan's would be in there
deselect it,
again,
select it again, so we have 379 plus, which means
and then
also
mine would
Ryan,
be in there now.
it would be, yeah,
Right. Okay.
Ryan's project.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, that would be the best solution. Or if you set up this user, if you already said that this user would know the rates and everything, so you can simply just give him the admin role. If you don't feel comfortable with that, of course, project manager, and then you just do it by
Right. Yeah, I
yourself.
could probably just give them admin. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So that's it. When we talk about the team page, let's move right now to our time categorization. So you said you have clients.
Yeah.
You said you have projects. Of course, client and projects are connected. So we work on this project for this client, of course. And then we have tasks as the subcategory. As you mentioned, you're going to have a couple of subcategories that you
Yeah.
can predefine. And then those tasks would be just the subcategory of each project.
So
So go
typically
ahead.
with the tasks, like my project manager has a few different tasks like emailing and blah blah blah. But like for a
Hmm.
designer, their task is here it is, build the presentation. So it's kind of a single task that could be anywhere from, I mean, it could be 5 hours, it could be 50 hours. So
Okay.
are they able to like chip away at that task and they can constantly like say, oh, today I did 5 hours on that task, and like, is that how I would
Yeah,
do it?
they can always add hours to the same task
Okay.
numerous times.
Okay.
We're going to cover that
Okay.
part right now. So let's first of all let's create one client,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to be original. I'm going to say that my client is Ryan
Sure.
and add him. So as you said, we have the option to say what currency I would like to build this client
Yeah.
in. So if it's going to be USD or euros, any other currency. I can leave the email address for that client, of course, full name, address, physical address, any kind of a specific note, and that's it. Right
Um,
after that,
just
go ahead.
curious, if I take a client and I put their email in, is your system ever giving me the option to email them something, or is that just more like a CRM thing?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. So this is only useful. It's useful also because you can open this page and see what's the email address of that particular client. But when you use invoices feature that we have here,
Oh, okay.
we have invoicing, so the system will always send invoices
To
to
that
that
email.
client to that email
Okay.
address.
Yeah,
That's
I
correct.
probably would not be. We have an invoicing system, so okay. Yeah, good to
Okay.
know.
Okay. So when we jump back to the projects page, I'm gonna just try to find that Ryan's project that we created. So there it is. I don't have any client, but right now I'm gonna open this project and make sure that on settings page I add client to that project. So I'm gonna
Okay.
say that it's Ryan. Ryan is my client. And when I come back here, I want to define tasks. So as you said, there's maybe for some projects you're going to have only one task, which is build a
Yeah.
presentation, correct? So build a presentation, or we're going to have some more tasks on some other projects. So it's going to be task 2, task 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And as you can see here, we have the option to set up the billable rate, the hourly rate per task. So whenever any user is going to choose that particular task, this rate will be applied.
And
So
that's the
whenever,
hourly rate that I would be charging my clients.
that's also a good question. We have the option in Clockify, when I go here to workspace settings and I scroll down, I have the option to turn on cost and profit analysis.
Oh,
When I
okay.
turn it on, right now you see here that I have billable rate. That is what we consider as what we charge our clients for. And then we have cost rate, how much time of our employees cost our company actually, correct? So that would be, of
Oh, I
course,
see.
and the difference between those rates
Is
in
the
every hour will be the profit actually,
right? Okay.
which you will be able to track. So right now, when we move back to that project, that Ryan's project, I can always say what will be hourly rate per this task and what will be cost rate for this task.
Right. I like that. Okay.
And of course, in the report later, you can always pull the report and see how much exactly you earned on this project or for this client or whatever you want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can say for task number 2, I want always, whenever anybody is working on this task, I want them to have a rate $15 per hour. Of course, cost rate is going to be 12. So $3 each hour, my profit is going to be on this task.
Right. Okay.
Also, task number 3 can have different billable rates. So it can be 14 and 10 will be the cost rate.
Okay. So now, and maybe you'll get to this, but that there's also the cost rate of the designer. How does that integrate into that?
Of course, yeah. So we have the option on the theme page to set up the cost rate and the profit, the billable rate for each person. But we also have the option to set up on the access page, when we are in project, we are right now in the settings of Ryan's project, I'm able to add people to this project. So if I make this project public, then it's going to be visible to all my employees. If I make it private, it's going to be visible only to people I add to this project. So Edo, Johnny, Maria, etc. So I added them right here. And I'm able to say that whenever Johnny is working on this project, his billable rate is going to be $20 per hour and his cost rate will be 15. Right. So this will be the highest billable rate and the highest cost rate in our hierarchy. So this will override all the other rates, the one per member per project.
Right. Oh, okay.
So whenever Johnny is tracking time on Ryan's project, his billable rate will be 20 and his cost rate will be 15, because this is the highest one. We have the hierarchy of billable rate. So you have 5 different spots where you can set the billable rate. It's workspace rate, so it's for everyone.
Yeah.
This one is the lowest one on that scale. Then we have team member rate that I showed you right here on the team page per person. Then we have that billable rate per project. So project settings billable rate.
Yeah.
This one is going to be the third one. Fourth one is the task billable rate. And if there's nothing more specific, actually everything, this is the most specific one. Per user, per project,
so this
will
one
be the highest.
Overwrites everything else.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But if you don't have anything here, then system will for sure take this billable rate.
So if I were to, because I'm not going to create like multiple users. I'm not going to create like Kodi regular and Kodi video editor, because I just want Kodi. So would I have to create a task? So under a project, I'd say, okay, task 1 is build the presentation. But there's some videos in there, some really custom video work or some animations that he's going to do. So he gets a different rate. So would I then create a second task? So I'd have presentation build, and then I'd have custom animations, and his custom animations task would have a higher hourly rate?
So you want them, yeah. Give me 1 second to think about it. So you would like them also to have like one more level of separation.
So let's just use a specific number here. So we're going to talk about a guy named Kodi. Okay. So Kodi can do 2 things. He can either do presentations or he can do animation, advanced animation. If he's doing presentation, I'm going to pay him $30 an hour. If he's doing animation, I'm going to pay him $50. So how would I set that up? So Kodi can go in and be like, hey, I just finished a full day, and he just keeps track on a piece of paper. He's like, hey, you know what? I did 4 hours of regular and I did 2 hours of animation. How do I punch that into Clockify?
Yeah. So what would be the name of the project then? Because we have that level, and then we have tasks as the sub level of that. So
I mean, the project, like I said, each project in my mind probably only has like, I mean, I guess it might have a few tasks, but really the big task is just the presentation. Like, it's just build me a presentation. Because then I'm eventually going to have a version 1, version 2, version 3. But those, I don't know. We've never really done those as tasks. We've just said, hey, they need another version.
Yeah. All right. So, for example, we have our client is Ryan, correct? And our project, what would be, in your case, what would it be the name of the project?
So let's call it a sales deck. Ryan's sales deck. Sure.
All right. And I'm going to delete this project part here.
And I mean, if you want some hours, let's say that the project has a budget of 15 hours total. That's what we're giving the client.
So our time estimate is 15 hours total.
Yeah.
The system gives you also the opportunity to select the task budget, but you would like just to go with the project budget,
think just the project at this point. I'd like to see how that works. Yeah.
Okay. And then on the status page, you're able to follow that progress towards the goal, towards those 15 hours goal. But when we talk about tasks, so what would be the case? So Kodi, you want Kodi to work right now on build a presentation.
He's going to build a presentation, and then I guess the second task could be like he's going to do some video work as well, some animations.
Okay.
He's going to create some cool animations.
if we set up this task here as animations,
Mhm.
what would you like him to be charged when
Um,
he's working on build a
like
presentation?
what would I pay him?
Yeah,
I
let's
would
say.
pay. Let's just use a big number. I would pay him $50 an hour for doing that.
Okay, so $15 per hour you would pay him. For
50 for animation.
okay, for animation
Yeah,
50,
let's
all
say
right.
50.
And what would be his billable rate? So how much you would earn from
Let's
your
just say I
client?
charge the client $100 an hour.
$100 per
Yeah,
hour.
so
So
every hour I'm going to make $50 if that was the case.
yeah. So right now, whenever this user is choosing animations,
Yeah.
you would like him to be so. But then you have another user who also maybe wants to track his time on animations, correct?
Yeah, and typically that's only one designer that ever works on a project.
Okay,
It's
then
just
we're
Cody.
good to go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're good to go with this. Why? Because when we go to the access page, we only need Cody here. So let's make sure that everyone else is removed
Oh,
from that
okay.
project.
So no one else can
This
jump
project
in on
is,
that. Yeah.
that's correct. And then just Cody is here. So let's say Cody is Maria
Yeah,
right
sure.
now. So only Maria is here, and I want to remove these other users from this project because it's private
Yeah.
and it's only visible to
So it's
my
just the admin and the owner.
employee
Yeah.
code. That's correct. So okay, I'm removing Johnny, and owner is of course having the option to see that project
Yeah.
because it's owner, and then Maria is, let's say, our Cody worker, and he's or she in this case is able to track the time and to see this project only.
Yeah.
So whenever she is tracking time on animations, she's going to be charged. Actually, you're going to be charged
I'm
for
gonna
her
be.
time.
Yeah. I'm charging the
Yeah,
client, and then I'm gonna pay her
you're charging the
50.
client and you're paying her
Yeah.
50, and then build a presentation.
Just
Maybe it's going to be 110,
yeah.
and then it's going to
I
be
paid say 30 or 55.
all
Sure, it
right,
doesn't matter. Whatever.
30.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, to show you how that's going to really look like, let's say, okay, let's go to reports page.
Yeah.
And I'm because I'm the owner, I'm able to add time instead of someone else.
Okay,
So
so you're
I'm going to
doing it on
go,
their behalf. Yeah, perfect.
yeah, I'm doing that instead of them. So I'm going on Ryan's project and I'm saying, okay, I want to work on animations right now.
Yeah.
And I want to add that Maria worked on animations for, let's say she started today at 8 a.m. and she finished at 3
Yeah.
p.m.
And I don't really care what time they do it. I just want to know the total value so I can just type in a number, right?
Then you can always say 6 hours total.
Okay.
Doesn't matter when they
I
started,
like
when they
that.
ended.
Yeah.
And you just click add. This added here
Yeah.
Maria's time,
Okay,
correct?
yeah. So she
And
did
we have
6
we
hours.
have the option to see the show amount. 100 is the billable rate. Show cost. Cost rate is
That's what I
50, so
paid
it's
her.
300. And show profit. Profit is 300 because billable and cost rate are this.
Right.
And then when we go back to our project and we open Ryan Sales Doc, we are able to see on the status page that we are 40% done on this project because the total time estimate for this project, or actually budget,
Yeah.
is 15 hours.
Yeah.
And then we worked 6 hours and we have 9 hours remaining on that project.
Right.
Correct?
And then I can see down below there it breaks out my tasks, which are my different rates.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So you're able to see how many hours exactly you tracked on each task. So 6 hours here. And of course, if there is any hours on build up presentation, which we're going to do it right now, why not?
Okay.
So I'm going to go reports. I'm going to go detailed. I'm going to add time for Maria again, but this time I'm going to do it on Ryan's project.
Yeah. On this
but it's going to
standard
be
one. Or the build a presentation. Yeah.
build a presentation one. And then we're going to say, okay, here she worked. Let's go with 6 hours again because we have different rates.
Yep.
So we have here, billable rate is 110, cost rate is 30. So for this specific time entry, our profit is 480.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if we are wondering, of course, about the amount, we see the amount and we see the cost.
Yeah.
And then when we come back to our project, we're able to see that right now we are on 80% and that we worked 12 hours and we see exactly what's the amount, what's the track time on each project, or actually on each task,
Yeah.
and the total amount, of course, how much it costs us for now. So yeah, that will be possible.
Okay.
If you have only one user per project, then I think the best solution is to go with this?
Well, I guess it's funny. I have a design. I have one designer on a project, but
Mm-hmm.
my project manager, she would need to log every time she emails the client, every time she calls the client, every time she reviews
Mm-hmm.
the project. So technically, I would have two users, but one of them would be the kind of more or less the admin person, the project manager,
Yep.
and then one would be the designer.
But there's also one good thing that you can always assign people to the task. So you can say, okay, animations and build a presentation for this project is only for Maria.
Okay.
And then if we have another user here, project manager,
Yeah.
let's say that's going to be, in this case, Sophie,
Sure.
whatever. And we come back to task and we say, okay, Sophie's going to work on this task or on any other task. If we set it up this way, these two tasks will be visible only to Maria, and this task will be visible only to Sophie.
So, are you able to show
And they're
me
not going to be,
what would the actual what would it look like when Maria logs in?
of course, yeah.
Because she's not
So,
going to see all this
uh,
stuff.
yeah, in this case, give me 1
Yeah.
second. I'm coming back in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah.
Just 1
No
second,
problem.
please. Thanks. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
So, since I have, as you can see here, I have full and limited members here. So Maria and Sophie are my limited members. That means that they don't have the access. I just
Right.
added them in for testing purposes. But let's say Johnny. So instead of Maria, I'm going to add Johnny
To the project.
because Johnny is a full member and I can log in as Johnny.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to remove Maria and remove Sophie, and right now I'm going to add.
And what will that do to all of Maria's hours that we just logged?
It's going to stay in the system. It
Okay.
doesn't matter if she's having
Okay,
the
so she's
access
just
to that
at this
project or
point
not.
she's off the project, but her hours are
She's
still inside the project.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. So whatever she done, it's going to be visible on your end.
Okay.
But what changes on her end? Right now, when she logs her hours, she's not going to be able to choose this project because she's removed
It's
from that
removed.
project.
And sorry, I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Right now, when I'm looking at this status page, am I
Mhm.
able to see who did these hours?
Not here, but you're going to be able to see it, of course, on the reports
On the
page. So
report page.
when you go to reports page, and let's say you want to see this month
Yeah.
how many hours we worked for our client Ryan on project Ryan sales deck, and then you open it and you see that in this month we did 12 hours on this project, and we see that cost, amount, and profit for this project in this month or this year or whatever you want.
Right.
You can choose even a bigger period. So let's say whatever customized period
Yeah.
you want to use. So you can see 12 hours. This is total amount that we earned. This is the cost, and this
That's
is
the
the profit.
profit.
And of course, when you click here, you can see project is this, animation 6 hours, build a presentation 6 hours, and then you can see also who was the user who
Excellent.
tracked the time on that.
Okay.
So you can always, this group by option
Yeah.
can be customized by you. So you can just see users who worked
And
on
I
that.
can
Or
export all this stuff as like a CSV. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Whatever you choose in these options, in these filters, or in this group by option, this is
there's my
exportable
export
as
there.
PDF, as CSV, or Excel file. So it's customized export
Okay, good.
that you choose what you would like to pull from the system, and then of course.
Okay.
Let's come back to that part where Johnny is. So Johnny is admin right now. I'm going to remove his admin role from the system so we can see exactly how regular user is going to see our system.
Oh, good. Yeah.
What I do next, because I'm on the highest plan here, my account is on the highest plan, I'm able to log in as the other person just to show you how that's going to look like. So I'm going to be able to log in as Johnny. So I'm logged in as Johnny.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah.
And Johnny is able to see whatever I want him to be able to see. So I'm able to log in hours on
So
just
he'll look at
certain
all the
projects.
he's been assigned to.
That's correct. So I see only projects he's assigned to,
Right.
and I'm able to go here and say, okay, let me add some hours to Ryan sales deck,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to see these three projects. But let's say I come back here on my main account and I want to make sure that Johnny sees only things I want him to see. So what I do, I go to projects page, I open Ryan project. There it is. And I go to access page. Okay, Johnny is added to this project, but I want him to see only build a presentation project, actually task. So right now, when I come back to my user's account, I go to Johnny. Right now, when I want to add time on Ryan's project, okay, it's still not refreshed, I guess. Three tasks. All right. Maybe this is because, give me 1 second to double check if I saved it. So he should be able to see only that one task. I don't know why this is not the case. I'm going to need to double check it.
Yeah, so Johnny should only be able to see build a presentation, right?
Because it's anyone here.
Oh, so Johnny should be able to see all three of those.
He shouldn't be able to see.
So doesn't it show anyone? It says animations can be anyone.
Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 second. So we would like to hide that project from Johnny. Okay. So when I add him as member, so let me, I got what I did right now. 1 second.
But would you have to go to animations and not show anyone?
There's no the other option
there
here.
isn't. Okay.
Yeah, so if I go with anyone, I cannot.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe I can assign Ivan test only to that. Maybe that would be the case. Yeah, that's good.
And then his account.
Yeah, give me just 1 second to double check here. Who can see what, who can do what. All right, admins and project managers. All right, right now maybe it's gonna be, so I need to log in as Johnny account. So if I'm adding time, let me refresh it. That's correct.
Now
thanks for your help.
Okay. Oh, no,
yeah.
No,
so
just an idea. Okay. Okay. So,
so right now, Johnny can see only build a presentation because he's assigned only to that project. And then anyone, of course, we need to add the other person to the other task to make sure that only he sees only that what you want him to see. And then he just adds time, manually says 7 hours today, add, that's it. And of course, that's visible later to you.
Okay. So big picture, I would have to use tasks to do split billing. That's kind of what we came up with, right? There are split rates, different rates for the same person. So you can use tasks.
Yeah.
Oh, what was my other question I had for you? Use the time tracker. Can we modify it? Oh, how would you use tags?
Yeah. So when we open this time tracker page, or let's say we open tags, you can have your own category. Whatever you want to add as a tag, you can add it. One of the ideas that I usually have, so you can actually utilize it to your own workflow. But let's say we have one tag called, let's say, remote. Mm-hmm. This is where I add my hours for remote work that I want to, because let's say I'm working remotely right now, so I'm working from my home, but there's also option to say remote or office time. So whenever my user is adding time and I want him to see, okay, he's adding time on this project, he's working for 8 hours on this project, and he's saying, okay, right now I'm adding time from my office. So he can tag this time entry and say that he worked from office. Tomorrow, maybe he's going to work remotely. So I want him to say that he worked remotely, and then that he worked 7 hours tomorrow remotely. So 24th, add project Doha 2, whatever. Yeah. And why this is important? Because when I go to reports, any tag that I chose there, I can filter it out by that tag. So I can see, okay, let me know how many hours in this week I have from the office, or any of my users have from the office.
And you see
so 8 hours.
Office. Oh, I see.
Yeah. and the system will show you only those tags that are containing this,
Yeah, because
only those time entries that are
I
containing
think when I
this.
was
Yeah.
playing around with it, I was putting tags as like my, actually, I guess I could still, my different work categories. So, for example, my work categories are client phone call, edits, building, general project management. Would that, you could tag that? Is that right? So then in a
Yeah,
given,
you can take that. The only difference is that we don't have the option to select the tag rate, and that's why I suggest you to go with
right.
tasks.
And
Correct.
and I should mention, most of the time, like I'd say 90% of the time, we're all at the same rate. Or like every designer's at their own rate. Like Cody is always going to get $30 an hour just
Hmm.
on everything. But
Okay,
if he does video, and we don't do a lot of it, but if he does, he gets a higher rate. Same thing with
that's
Rush.
fine.
If they're
So
working on the weekend, we pay them like an overtime rate. So that would be,
yeah, that's
yeah.
correct. So, for example, in this case, let's say Johnny is that person right
Mm-hmm.
now, and right now Johnny, whenever he's working, let's say again on this Ryan's
Yeah.
project, so whenever he's working on task build a presentation, he will have 110 and 30.
Right.
But whenever he's just assigning his time to this project or any other project, the system will pick up his rate from here. So the same one that you said.
Right.
So you always have the same rate unless you choose that specific task. So whenever they choose specific task, their rate will be higher, or the one that you set up there. Whenever they choose any other task that there is no specific rate, the system will pick up this rate from here.
Right.
So
What about so my project manager? Not all of her time is billable. Now, the goal
mhm,
is that if she can have 60% of her time billable, that's great. But inevitably, there's sometimes like in the morning, she'll do an hour of just general emails and organization of stuff. How would she
mhm.
put in something that is not assigned to a project or not billable, I guess?
Yeah, so we have the option whenever we create a project or a task, we have the option to set up whether this task or project will be billable.
Okay.
So once you're creating the project, let's say Ryan
So
uh,
could I just
2
before you do that,
project.
if it's not, what if it's not really for a project? It's just like, would I just put for the company, like just a generic, generic
Yeah,
project?
you can just go generic project that's gonna be called working hours
Okay,
email or
okay,
whatever you want.
right.
Yeah, and once you create it like
And
that,
there'd be no client
you
to it.
just yeah, no client to it because it's your internal project. Let's call it that way. When you go to settings, you just make sure that this is not billable by default. So not
Oh,
billable
okay.
by default. And whenever I'm gonna choose this project, so what was the name of that? Working hours emails, correct? Whenever I choose this and I add 5 hours to that, this is not gonna be billable. You see this sign? It's
Right.
non-billable because by default this project is non-billable.
Right. Okay. So she would just, and that would just be something that I could just it's a project that never can be completed because it's just always happening, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So then
yeah,
in my
it's always
report, I can
always
just
there.
see how much of this project time was allotted to it.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
always go here and say, okay, let me see what Ivan did this week, and then you apply this week, and you see that he had 8 hours billable and 5 hours
Yeah.
non-billable time. And if you're wondering about specifically what projects he was working on, then you see Doha 2, he worked 15 hours on that. It was billable, but this one wasn't billable.
Right. So there's no profit on that.
That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah, there's no profit on the other one, of course. Yeah.
Um,
So
I
everything will be, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say, in terms of getting a snapshot here, I'm just gonna put my screen up just for a second here, if that's
Go ahead.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, full screen. So this right here, again, everything we're doing is spreadsheets right now. This is kind of a quick overview that I set up. So at any given
Mm-hmm.
time, we can see, okay, these are all the projects. These are the total hours used, right? This is kind of the breakdown of where those hours are coming from. So project management,
Okay.
concepts, whatever. And then this is the percent of the budget used. And you can see we've got a whole bunch that are way over budget, which is a problem. And then I actually had I just made a quick little visual. So if it's pink,
Mm-hmm.
we're over budget. If it's this teal color, hey, we're doing good. If it's red, we're 90% of the way there. Is there a
Yep.
way that I could do some sort of I don't know, like a snapshot in time of where we're at, or do I have to look at each project separately?
Yeah, so that's also a good question. Give me 1 second just to start sharing you my
Mm-hmm.
screen. So there's still no way for the system to automatically mark some entries as entries that are over
Yeah.
budget or something like that. But we have, so let's say on projects, we are here. As you can
Yeah.
see here, when we open
Oh.
project list, we can see that this
Oh.
project is, because I
Oh, that's
added some more
perfect.
hours,
Oh, yeah.
so this is over. But there's also one more feature that can be useful, uh, where you can always go here and say, all right, let me, please, I want the system to alert me whenever my project is on 60, 95, or
Oh,
any
I
other
like
percent that you
that.
want. So if project reaches, let's say, whatever percent, so even if it's 99, even if it's 100 or whatever, so 96% of its estimate, I want to be notified about that. So workspace admin, project manager, or all
And that
project
comes in an
members.
email or a notification in the app?
It comes as the
Email.
email.
Okay.
So the email will notify you, hey, Ryan, your project sales deck is on 96% of its budget, of its time estimate.
That's
So please
great.
take
Okay.
care of that.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can always make sure you can always select a couple of alerts. So on
Yeah.
each 20%, the system will let
Yeah.
you know
So
where you are
between
at.
that and then when I click on that projects page, if I have 20 projects, I'm going to see a whole list, and I'm guessing I could probably organize it by budget too,
Yep,
or progress, it'd be called.
that's
Track
correct. So
19 hours
when
to
I apply this
15.
filter, you see all my projects that are having, this one is really over its
Yeah,
estimate.
Bob.
So you have all the projects that are having any
Right.
budget set. Of
Okay.
course, this is with no budget. For example, that working hours that we mentioned
Yes.
for non-client project, that's not going to have the progress bar, but you can always
Yeah.
play with this and set up the drop-down menu to show you always the
Yeah.
projects that are with budget and that are close to its end. So
When
from the highest to the
when a
lowest.
project is done and I don't need to see this anymore, I'm assuming I can just archive it somewhere,
That's
right? And
correct.
then
When you click here,
yeah.
we can archive it and all tasks will be marked as done. However, you still see this project in the
Yeah.
system, but you're just going to see that it's archived. And when you go to reports, you can always see, okay, I want to see only active projects. So show me only active projects or active and archived or all of them. It's up to you. So yeah, you
Right.
can archive it and save it in the
And then
system.
go back to projects for a second. So
Hmm.
it's scratched out now to show that it's archived. I don't remember what it was called.
Yep.
Is it's
Yeah.
still in there?
Archived. I'm
Oh,
going to
okay. There's
find
a
it right
filter
here.
for that. I just want to make sure I'm not going to see that because after, let's say, 5 years, I don't want to have 1,000 of these things in
All
there.
archived.
Okay. Yep.
Just make sure that you say, okay, I want to see only active
Active versus
projects
archived.
and apply filter. Right now, system will show you only active projects
Nice.
without those.
Yeah, this is good. I don't know. I'm sure there's lots more stuff it can do, but it sounds like that would. This is kind of what I want to get into, right? I want to get into a system where it's going to work for my designers, it's going to work for my project manager, and I can eventually, find out what other settings and cool things I can do with it. But the basic idea is pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for that
Yeah.
feedback. You already have a lot of clients and projects, correct?
You mean just in general? Yeah.
Yeah, you in those spreadsheets that you
Oh
showed
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I
Like
guess
for
you
the
have.
first, I think we've got 15 active clients right now. We do about 10 to 15 clients a month. So in a given
Mhm.
year, we're talking whatever that is. Couple
Yeah,
hundred.
okay. However, if it's easier for you to enter already existing clients, projects, and tasks into the system, you can always do it from here. So you can always go to your workspace
Yeah.
settings, and we have this import option.
Oh, okay.
So you can import CSV file with all those
And
details, so
it'll.
you don't have manually
Oh,
to
that's
add
good.
everything.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it just needs to be in the specific format, but you're gonna
Yeah.
see. I'm gonna send it in the follow-up email how the format should look
Okay.
like, and you just make sure that your document look like that, and the system will accept it, and then you're not gonna have to spend a lot of time
Right.
on adding them manually.
Okay. Excellent. And I mean, pricing I can look up. It's a per member per month. I'm assuming I can
That's
do it
correct.
annually. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're located in the U.S.,
I'm in
correct?
Canada, but yeah, doesn't
Okay.
matter. It's USD.
Actually,
Yeah,
the pricing is gonna be the same
yeah.
for Canada and for U.S. So yeah, basically, uh, so based on what we discussed from now, either so if you don't need that feature that I showed you to control accounts, to log in as the other user, I don't know if you need that, but honestly, if you don't need this, maybe my boss would kill me for that, but I don't
Yeah,
think you need the
I'm looking at
enterprise
it too.
plan,
I don't
honestly.
really need the single sign-on. I don't care about the custom subdomain. Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
Pro is
so
probably what I'd be looking at.
yeah, so Pro would have the option to set up those
Yeah, that's
estimates
the
and
big one
those
for me.
alerts.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that a
so
lot.
if that's the everything else we discussed, including task rates, manager role, and everything else we discussed will be
Yeah,
included in the Pro. So Pro would be, I guess, the right solution for you. However, in case you decide to upgrade and you upgrade, doesn't matter how many licenses you buy at the start, you're going to have the option to book a meeting with our customer success agent
okay.
who will be there to maybe provide training to your employees
Oh,
if, of
cool.
course, if it's
Okay.
needed, or help you
Help me
set
set
up
it up.
everything.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is no additional cost for that. So just let me know, hey, Ivan, I subscribe to that. Please let me
Yeah.
know if anybody can jump on a call with me. I'm sending you the link.
Awesome.
You can book yourself, and that's it.
Okay. Now, I know we're already over our allotted time. I don't know if you've got other stuff
No
on.
worries. I have 10
You
more
have 10 more
minutes, so
minutes.
no problem.
I probably should book something else. I haven't even jumped into the, what do you guys call it? Plaky, the project
Yeah,
management.
play.
Because I was looking at that, and because right now I thought they might work well together. I went to sign up for a trial, and it had me creating
Mhm.
a whole new username and email. Are the systems not linked? Are they completely separate?
So it's not separate. Actually, you can use the same email address. It's not linked in terms of there's no the if you create account on Clockify, the system will not automatically create the same account on
Okay.
Playkey, but however, for example, I use Google sign in for
Yeah.
both Clockify and Playkey, and right now when I open Playkey, I'm able to log into the same, of course, to the same
Right.
account, to the
But
same
it's
email address, and of course on the tasks you have the timer there. It's integrated. So what exactly was your question?
number one. I just wanted to find out: do I have to create basically? Yeah, use the same email and have two. I mean, I could use the same password, but they're log in twice for each one, or do I have to log in
Yeah,
separately?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
it's different logins.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no. We plan to
Eventually,
develop
yeah.
it
Like in the
soon. Yeah,
Google thing, you sign in Google and then you can access every sub product of Google. So I wasn't sure if it was
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. We're gonna have that cake login
Okay.
soon, but
Yeah, cake
still,
login.
you're gonna need to have. Yeah, but in case you decide to go with, if you really like Blake or something, you decide to go with your bundle
Yeah.
plan, which is gonna save you a lot of money in case you like Blakey. Of course, just let me know, and then we, of course, even if it's different email address, the subscription will
Yeah,
be
and that's
connected
what I
to,
need to
and
look at.
we're
And
gonna.
I know we don't have time now, but I do want to learn about Plaky and see if maybe that would be a benefit for our team as well.
Yeah, you can always book another
Okay,
meeting for Blakey. We can always jump on another call and
perfect.
quickly go over it. So whenever you're,
Both
I'm gonna send you some useful videos
okay.
as well. Sorry.
Both systems compatible with Zapier. Can I do Zapier integrations?
Blakey, not yet.
Okay,
I'm just gonna need to double check it.
okay.
Clockify, yes. Clockify has the open API, and then you can always. Uh, we have a lot of people
Yeah,
using
if
Zapier
you could let me
in
know about the
Clockify.
project man, that's a big thing. Zapier runs pretty much everything we do. So if I want to do a project management platform, I don't want to have to automatically do everything. I want to just kind of spit it all out. So
Yeah, do
if you
it
could let me
through
know,
the
that'd be
Zapier.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I'm gonna check it right after this call, and I'm letting you know in that follow-up email. So you already started the free trial,
I've already started
correct?
the free trial.
On
I can't really
Clockify.
do much, so I guess what I'll probably do is maybe just do a single seat for pro, just so I can, because I can't access any of the fun stuff that I want to play with right now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Of
okay,
course, that would be the solution. And then whenever you are ready, you can add the
add the
other people
teams.
to the system as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Why to spend more money until your profile is ready
yeah,
for
and
that?
we have our the number of team members we have really fluctuates a lot. So I would imagine monthly would probably be better for me because I don't want to spend annually and then find out that two of our people are gone and we don't need those seats, or vice versa. I need more
Uh,
seats.
yeah. So if you go with the annual
Yeah,
plan, for example, and let's say you buy seven
yeah,
seats at this moment, and then 2 of them they leave in September, for example. Then the system will, you just remove those seats from your annual plan, and then the system will calculate that and give you the credit. So next time you're charged, that credit will be used for
The
your
following
subscription.
year,
And
because it's
yeah,
annual.
the price will be prorated for the
Okay.
next
Well,
billing
that's good
cycle.
to know. Okay.
But if you need to add people, of course, you can add it. And then if you subscribe today, for example, in July, and then in September, you decide you need to add 2 more users, the system will charge you only for that part of the year that's
Oh, because my
left until
billing
the end
date
of the
would be
billing cycle.
July 22nd every year.
Yeah, your billing date will every year be the same, and then the system will charge you for those 8
Okay.
or 9 months with prorated price, of course.
Awesome. Hey, well, this has been fantastic, Ivan. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the information. Yeah, I'm gonna give me a little bit. I'm gonna play around with everything, and yeah, send me some
Of
follow-up
course.
videos. That'd be great.
I'm going to send you the follow-up on PlayKey with that answer for
Yes,
this
please.
Zapier. And also, in case you have any questions, just let me know. We can always jump on another call
Yeah.
and run over PlayKey, Pumble, or actually Clockify. Just let me know that. Expect my email in the next 30
Yep.
minutes or
Yeah, no
so,
rush.
so we can then discuss everything.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ryan.
All
Have a
right.
nice
Take care.
one, and then we keep in
Yeah.
touch.
Bye.
Bye-bye.